Hello, this is the second part of the recording. Let's see some tips on effective writing. I told you some tips before. I went to some tips about how to write texts. I will go now to the third part of the presentation. You should avoid ambiguity. Try to make things as clear as you can. If you write a text that is ambiguous and make people wonder and have questions and doubts and unknowns, this might not be the best solution. You should give example. For example, if you write an article about meta description, show what a meta description is. If you want to write an article about cars, put some photo or some infographic or a graph explaining the basic principles in the article. Create a context. So try to present the general ideas, but put it in a context. Why do you need to write the article? If you write about a situation, what's the general context, and present it as broad as you can. You can write it at the beginning, but an even better option is to present it at the end if it's not that important. But try to give the audience a broader understanding of the topic. About keyword density, it matters less and less. So search engines nowadays have a very powerful algorithm. I doubt keyword density is an important factor. On the other hand, of course, if you write an article about summer in Miami, most of the things on the article will be related to the topic, but just repeating summer beaches in Miami 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, this will likely bring no result. But because if you want to talk about the topic, from that time you have to repeat the subject, you have to use certain words. This will happen naturally that you'll use the proper words for the article. Of course, as Google used to say, don't be evil, you should try not to be wrong. Of course, this is very simple but assertion, but it's harder than it looks. Even if you bring evidence and try to support your article with the facts, at some point you might be wrong. Misleading data, poor interpretation, inaccurate sources, things like that. But an article can create multiple emotions, but try to focus on, so you can create more emotions than just one, but try not to create an article on multiple topics. So stick to a single topic, but yes, it can have various results. So you can make someone a bit sad or a bit happy, or both sad and happy, melancholical, but don't try to write an article on 5 topics. I advise you against this. If you want to convince your audience that the phone is nice, you can have, talk about product size, colors, materials, components, durability, but an even better option would be to present some benefits and emotions. Okay, so the product is large or small. Why does this benefit me? And you can take it a step further. Okay, I have a small phone, it fits well into my pocket, and I will feel good about myself that I don't need to carry a large backpack in order to carry my phone or whatever. And this will make me happy, and others will compliment me for being a happy person. So you can start, this is a small phone, it fits into my pocket, this brings me happiness, and people around me will notice this. So you can make it on multiple levels. You can try to prove things. It's one thing to say, we have the best phone, and it's another thing to say, based on a test, out of 20 phones, our product was ranked the top. If you want to learn more about a topic, you should teach others. Try to present information to other people. This will likely help you become a better professional. Avoid the passive voice. So don't write the presentation was done well, but write I like the way you've done the presentation. Make it in an active voice. About emoticons, emojis. It might be feasible for some markets, for some audiences, but I wouldn't use it in all contexts, and I would consider testing it. So, okay, let's see how a text, a piece of content does without emojis, and how well does it perform with emojis. Okay. Consider linking to related articles on your website and other websites. So if you have an article on a topic, you can link to other articles or other websites and see if you can bring value like this. You should avoid doing things just for Google. So related to this piece of advice, don't randomly create links just to appear higher on Google. It's not a good solution. You should focus mostly on the visitors, and hopefully Google will appreciate it also. Avoid naming things strange. So write about us. Don't write about us in a very complicated way that nobody understands. So people like to scan things and go quickly. If you write what defines us, some people might not understand that is the about us page. And if you use metaphors and long phrases and things that are complicated, if you have a block of text, it might be harder to understand quickly what the message is about. So try to make your text scannable. And consider adding call to actions whenever appropriate. So visit the website, go to the event, subscribe to the newsletter. And we got to the final part of the presentation. Okay, not all articles need a conclusion, but most articles need an introduction. So consider adding at least an introduction and perhaps even a conclusion. You should show some vulnerability. You shouldn't be a superhero with no flaws. Everything is perfect. There are no mistakes. Consider writing and showing, okay, we've done some mistakes. This is how we've repaired them, and so on. But you should pay attention that not everyone will agree to this piece of advice. You should try to tell a story for an appropriate type of article. So make a script, create an image inside the mind of the viewer. The mind of the reader. You should reread your text to make sure there are no major errors. Of course, if you have a long text, errors are inevitable, but try to at least cover the basic errors. You should, when rereading, consider reading in a loud voice. It gives you a different impression than rereading in your mind. You should ask for feedback. You don't need a lot of people. Just asking a few people and having a direct conversation with them could help. If you want an exceptionally great article, consider rewriting it from scratch. So you write it 2 days or 3 days past, write it again, and then ask for feedback, and hopefully you'll have a much better article. And of course you should focus on the SEO tasks also. So there are some basic things like meta title, meta description, alt text and file names for images, H1 for titles, and H2 and H5, H2, H3, H4, H5 for subheadings. You should, okay, you can read it in here. These are basic stuff, so just doing SEO will likely help having a better, more read article. You should use font sizes and colors that are easy to read on all devices and are around 50-70 characters per line. So make it, if you have a large monitor, you should make it appear only on a small width website and not too long. Like make it like a page of a book, but held closer. So write it in a larger font, like a page in the book, but if it's a bit from a distance, make the font larger. You should consider using vertical spaces, so have some empty lines and empty spaces. have a look at this article. I like that drop cap, the big W. It brings people attention, and I've been using it quite a few websites. I really like this. I read the status on Twitter, and I used it ever since. Of course, the article should be nice to see. So if I will look at your article, you should have images, headings, tables, and other things in bold. Of course, you should sign your articles, have an author box at the bottom, perhaps even at the top you should mention at least the name, and say some things about the author. It creates a better connection with the article. Of course, as time will go by, you will likely improve and become better at your craft. About comments on your article, should you read them and reply? It's not an absolute solution, but consider reading them, but not replying to everyone, and also consider not replying. You should focus more on creating things rather than commenting. This is an idea by Seth Godin. And after you've written an article, brag a bit about it, promote it, add some links, send it to some friends, send it to some people who you'll know will likely appreciate it, and so on. They will likely appreciate it. There's a quote in a game I used to play, and I like it a lot, and it says you can go outside and play at the end of the game. Thank you for listening to me. This was a presentation used by Slides Carnival, and I used some resources. And thank you for listening.